On our last video of the Wimbie Hill walk, we noticed this track running south off the main track up from Wimbie Bridge. So we thought we'd have a quick look and see where this one takes us. It heads off downhill. It's quite a decent fire trail and nice and wide. Obviously it gets a little bit of action from some of the single track boys on their bikes from time to time. It levels out here and there and then drops down again. There's a track that runs off here to the right, about halfway along. Not quite sure where that goes, but we might find out a little later if our hunch is correct. It just heads off here. It's quite narrow and disappears into the trees. We didn't explore that any further on this visit. So further on down the hill, it starts to get a little bit steeper as we get towards the main road, and you can start to see in the distance George Bass Drive as it appears with the traffic on it. So it's a fairly short pinch from the top to the bottom, and as we got towards the bottom, came over these last little humps that control the water in the rain, we noticed off to our right another track, and so we thought, well, why not, let's see where this one goes. It's got a few big trees across it, so the fireys won't be using this one anytime soon, and obviously the locals know about it, and there's a track that runs around above and over down the other side, and then lo and behold, another tree down. It's been quite wet and stormy of late, so a lot of trees coming down in the forest. So watch your step if you go through here, and you'll have to go under or over some fairly big trees if they're still there when you do this walk. So we head on further on down this track. Still quite a nice track, nice and wide, in the beautiful green forest after all the rain. You can see the burnt remnants of the fire of a few years back. Another small tree down across the track here, which we managed to skirt around the outside of. And then we come down to another tree. Funnily enough, quite a big tree this one. It's fallen down and knocked some others with it on the way. Pretty easy to get over. And here's a T-intersection, and I suspect the track up the hill goes to that first one we saw a little while ago. But we decided we'd head on down the hill because that was the general direction that we were heading, and we're in some quite tall eucalypts here on a reasonably easy walking track. Just goes downhill at a slight angle. It's a beautiful canopy over us, lovely and green, and again the odd tree down here and there after the storm, but there's lots of them, so still plenty of spots. Now this was interesting. This was what looked like the shape of a wild boar from a distance, but it's actually the trunk of a tree, or the tree root sitting over the top of another tree. Quite stunning up close. Then what possibly is a native bee's nest up in the top of the trees here, and then quite an unusual formation just a little further down. Oh, guess what, another tree across the track, who'd have thought. So just here on our right, there's quite an interesting formation in the top, or about halfway up one of these lovely gums. It's quite unusual. Another shot of the bee's nest, but here's the very unusual part of a trunk on the tree. Maybe it had another tree laying across it at some point. Not really sure. But you come out at the bottom of the track behind the houses, and this track goes down and through and out the other side, and you'll come out at the car park at Wimbie Beach. So all in all, it takes a little while to walk through here, but it is quite pleasant and lots to see. So quite recommended. Of course, after all the rain, it's quite lush and green and a bit boggy down there through behind the houses, but you get through. So what do you think? Looks like a pretty neat little walk to us, and well worth the trouble to just do that little bit of extra exploring. Bye for now.